Welcome to our pop-up webinar. Listen, we talking about transforming business and society with a consultant model called APC, stand for Artistic Psychological Culture Strategy. So our topic is about inspiration and strategy, and we're using our book now available on Amazon called The Consciously Exposed Manifesto. Um, yeah, because I think, just popping up this webinar because I think that we definitely live in a time of urgency, emergency, or uncertainty. Um, and we definitely in a time of just a global migration shift, man. Immigration fears, um, economic uncertainty, businesses, government, an entrepreneur. I think we have to move beyond panic. I think move beyond reactionary policies, just and focus on a more towards looking holistic. Let's get a credible and kind of solution and reframing a lot of things. And I'm thinking about first reframing diversity, equity, inclusion because I think that DEI definitely, have to continue to evolve, just beyond a race-based conversation. Let's talk about economic empowerment. These are the things that we know, but we have to emphasize that. Let's keep talking about cultural intelligence because businesses that just don't get it, if you fail to adapt to a multicultural market and a diverse workforce, you're going to fall behind. But I think many of us get it, but we have to emphasize. So I consult a model called the APC model. It's basically artistic, psychological, culture strategy, culture intelligence that just provide that framework that we've been using to help our clients, just our network navigate challenges. I think spark innovation just to improve, profit, impact, and so on. So my book, again, Conscious Exposed Manifesto, it basically dive into strategy, man. So it's available on Amazon. Let's get it started. I think number one, I want to focus on the whole art piece, the artistic edge. What does that mean? Using creativity just to build connection. And I think the question is why art is a business and a social strategy. We need a lot of strategy. I feel like poetry, storytelling, and visual art can help reframe conversation, right? Around immigration, diversity. So that's a tool because you need poetry, you need art to help us digest this triggering topic. So I think artistic storytelling can definitely create these emotional connection with just multicultural audiences. I mean, look at one of our giant multinational, what is it? Nike. Yeah, look at Nike. They had an equality campaign where Nike used spoken word, I think poetry, just to promote diversity in their, I think, equality campaign. So that's an example. You got a lot of example. You got a lot of ads, a lot of things that people doing locally or even celebrity or in general. So basically, poetic narration, turning whatever industry you're on into metaphor, into conversation regarding social equity. I don't know. I think if we just got to spark deeper connection, deeper conversation, and really frame around how our arts creates, yeah, unity. That's the thing. Think about how can art create unity, right? And especially in diversity, equity, inclusion. Um, where I think there's a study called, was it the Fearless Girl? It was like maybe a statue that became a symbol for women leadership. I have to remember. I don't know, some kind of art. I have a mental block. But the point is, instead of us using confrontation, I mean, it's tough, man. We just got to inspire dialogue. Um, we got to really frame it from a point where art should invite all audiences into into conversation, not create division. So I think for me, my personal example, for me, I mean, poetry and business or community building. I'm a poet certified by the City of Boston Art and Culture. So in my consultant work, I've used spoken word poetry and I did integrate that in workshop just to help businesses or community organization leader just to improve whether we're talking about kind of, building emotionally intelligence team. It helps with retention because I think that emotion is everything. People in the workplace want to be heard, want to be understood, right? Want to be valued. So I feel like I use art to help connect just an inclusive work environment conversation. So, and that's part of the book where if you get it on Amazon, you can learn how the model work, how I use it to transform businesses and society. I have a lot of case study example of past clients and network. So that's the art piece. Um, Psychological insight is that second framework where we're really talking about sight, psychological insight. We're building trust, kind of creating win-win solution because there's a lot of fear, but I think fear versus opportunity equal understanding the psychology of uncertainty because when things are uncertain, there's a panic. And we do make decisions based on emotion, of course. The logic second, that's being a human. So I think agency businesses must engage at both levels because you can't overlook there's a fear of migration, the DEI as reframing, fear of change. How you going to brand and rebrand your message? What is your message these days, right? People fear what also they don't understand. So how businesses can lead through emotional intelligence, be the voice of calm, clarity, and confidence. Well, it's hard, but um, build solution that address real needs, cultural, emotional, economic. Use inclusive messaging. And that goes beyond race, man, into more equity and I think share prosperity. Uh, so for me, I mean, one practical business tip or entrepreneurship tip, I think apply emotional intelligence to really sales and leadership, right? You, we try to increase we try to increase consumer engagement. I think if you're a brand that really communicate with empathy and understanding, you can build long-term loyalty. It's not a hard formula. I don't know, maybe it is. You still have to keep measuring data too, because instead of pushing sell, you can also focus on trust. Because trust is everything. Trust-driven narrative, it really align with your customer emotion, understanding your community, your consumer, the emotion, the temperature, right? So if you master emotional intelligence in business, you'll get it. That's why I think it's on one of the chapter here where I talk about that. So that's kind of like the whole like psychological insight aspect of it. Now, the third is cultural intelligence. Basically, cultural intelligence means your ability to connect across different culture and business. Why cultural intelligence is the future of businesses? Because we live in an interconnected world. Everything is connected. Migration, trade, business expansion. You can't avoid that. Um, so we just have to keep moving beyond sort of kind of the US lens or balance it out and embrace the global market and the multicultural workforce. It's the reality, whether we like it or not. So global expansion and adaptation is a reality. Yeah, you can do business locally, internationally. So for example, let's say you have a beauty brand here in the US that's expanding to Africa. You may fail because you didn't use local languages or acknowledge regional beauty standards. The small things, right? Or let's say you're a tech company, um, trying to hire local, I don't know, local folks in somewhere in Africa or in the world. I don't know. You gotta adapt your marketing messages and just respect culture and norm. And we got to do this better at home too. So there's a lot of lesson to learn when it comes to cultural intelligence. I think it's just a difference between success and failure in global expansion. So for me, I think we'll leave in the time, and that's gonna be a quick exercise for you and for me, and I'm still learning. We got to reframe migration, cultural integration. How can we turn it into a business success? And there are plenty of facts that we have the business case for diversity, equity, inclusion. So culturally diverse workforce or markets, yeah, it's everything. Um, I know there's cultural differences and language differences, and I always talk about entering the African market, but in so many countries in Africa, 54 countries, and so many languages, how can you penetrate the African market? I mean, there's a lot of way to do so. Cultural intelligence is the key. A lot of global business opportunities. So hire the local in somewhere. You don't have to speak the language, but do market research. Do use storytelling, hire one of the local. Make sure you include the community in needs address their needs over there when you do business across somewhere, I don't know, in a country in Asia and Africa. But anyway, the point is it's time to lead with cultural intelligence and also time to lead with the artistic, psychological, cultural strategy. Because this manifesto here, it's basically, I wrote it to really focus on how do we transform, transforming our uncertainty, because we're not certain, into business innovation, into creativity. It's time to learn about being creative. You got to use art, psychology, and culture just to really drive new idea, new beginning, innovation, reframe thing. Uh, you got to be different. So listen, grab your copy today. Click the link below. It's on Amazon. All about the Consciously Exposed Manifesto on Amazon now. Get that. And then, yeah, connect with us below, because we have to stay inspired, uh, breathe, stay composed, focus on what you can't control, focus on your mental health, focus on what you can't control, uh, and stay the course. All right, until next time, you've been consciously exposed. Peace.